Welcome back to The American Dream. My next guest is no stranger on this show. It is none other than Arthur Daitch, broker-owner of Red Tree Real Estate. Arthur, thank you so much for being back on.
Pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, Arthur. I always love talking to you. I want to start our conversation today by focusing in on the market trends that are happening this year. We're newly into 2018. What are the trends that you see happening?
Well, it's early, but people have started getting into the whole scope of looking at homes early, too. What I've been noticing for homeowners or buyers is open houses are packed. They're jammed. So the more people at open houses equals more intimidation. But that should not stop anyone from making an offer if they like a home. What happens is you get intimidated, and that's an emotion, but you should be making an educational decision when offering on a home. So in terms of making your offer, just go with your gut and don't be fooled by how many people are at the open house. Sometimes they're just there checking it out. Sometimes they're neighbors, and sometimes they're just not ready to pull the trigger. You know, for investors, on the other hand, MLS, Trulia, Zillow, Redfin, all these things are more likely not as sexy to an investor anymore because they're looking on Craigslist, they're knocking on doors, they're trying to find these secret properties that not everyone knows about. They try to find these brokers such as myself who find niches in this investment market so they don't have to go against the local investor and foreign investor.
That's some really good information. So you're saying that a mainstream property that's having a traditional open house typically isn't pulling in the investors that are going to be putting in those all cash offers and then just kick you out of the running.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that there's nothing good on the market, but typically if an investor is a seasoned person, they're going to be more inclined to be jaded and not go after a property that every single person and their mother knows about.
Well, we know the importance of finding a realtor that we can trust to help us through this process. How do you suggest someone goes about doing that? Do you subscribe to the interview process? Do you say, you know what, just sit down and have a cup of coffee with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the world's greatest realtor could be your worst nightmare if you don't, click with each other. So at that time, having a cup of coffee or having something like that happen where you just sit down and, one person speaking to another, see if you can engage well. Another way is to vet your broker. If the last 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 transactions aren't something that you have yourself been looking for, like, for instance, if they're selling single families in the South Shore and you want them to sell your 3-family in Brookline, they might not have the best thumbprint on the market.
Well, talking about the market, I don't want to let you go today without talking about the hot neighborhoods in your local market this year. Tell me about some of those. I know you have a few that you wanted to mention. Yeah,
so it's so funny. It's so difficult to put something as a hot market because things make hot markets, such as school districts, such as land, such as taxes, such as if something like Amazon was coming into town. But a couple of markets that are strictly for an investor, excellent cash flow markets and great on return on investment are going to be in the North Shore. I'm going to talk about Revere and Malden, great cash flow and still dollar for dollar value that you can afford. In the South Shore, Weymouth is an excellent place that a lot of people are looking into and buying something on the newer side that needs less work. In the city, West Roxbury is money, guys. Every single person who did the developments in Chestnut Hill, where they have all the stores, has encouraged more people to move into that area, creating higher incomes and more rent per capita. And then in terms of my secret spot, we have a little pocket of the city called Lower Alston. Lower Alston is really cool because it sits between BU and Harvard University. And what it used to, and I call this the ass to elbow syndrome. At one point, it was at the butt of the city. It wasn't the prettiest part of town. As soon as Harvard University started digging into this neighborhood, putting infrastructure, fixing the streets, all of a sudden it turned into the elbow of the neighborhood, becoming more hip, bringing in Trader Joe's, bringing in bars and nightlife and breweries. So it is definitely going to be in the next 5 years one of the hottest places to live in Boston.
Great tips. Thank you so much for giving us some of your secret information today, Arthur. Top producer, thank you so much, as always, for being on the show.
Anytime. See you soon.
See you soon. And if you have any other questions for us, feel free to reach out to us, contact us on social media. We love to hear from you. And of course, we are AmericanDreamNetwork.tv. We'll be right back with more of the show.